Hello traders, welcome to another daily analysis. Today is November 3rd, Thursday. So today the headline is actually once again goes to the UK. And we started the session of course with the service PMI, which was a scheduled release, and it came out as a positive surprise. Now unfortunately I did not trade it because I was more bearish in British pound, and basically I have no excuse. I just don't think it's gonna be a surprise. And that's the thing about trading, is that you really have to have a discipline if you decide to trade a certain event or a certain strategy, a certain style, because it comes down to a long-term probability trade. That means I always repeat that every individual trade, although you have 50-50 outcome as a percentage, but in long term, that's where your winning probability will come in. So same as a certain strategy, if you say you're gonna trade a certain piece of news, then you have to trade it every weekly, monthly, or quarterly to make it accurate. So I certainly did not do that. And if I did it, maybe I could have made some money, which I'll go into an hourly chart, 5-minute chart, just to see how did it go. And right after the service PMI from UK, I know we have today the High Court ruling, which is the British Supreme Court, in favor of the UK Parliament in terms of the Brexit. So essentially what does that mean is that the whole Brexit, or to trigger the Article 50, has to go through the Parliament. And remember, in UK they have two parliaments. They have the upper and lower parliament. So that means that no matter who is in the government right now, or no matter what kind of plan they have, it's all have to go through the parliament. Now, that's a very, very positive sentiment for UK, because essentially, I already read an article online today, right after the ruling. Essentially, what UK can do is, legally, they can really just completely ignore the referendum. What does that mean? Is that even though they are voted to leave Euro, but right now, before they trigger the article, on paper, officially, they are still part of the Eurozone. So now, as long as the Parliament decide that they're never going to pass this article, then essentially UK is still part of Euro. They are Brexit on paper, on name, but essentially, economically, politically speaking, they are still part of the Eurozone. So whether they're gonna do that, it's completely legal for them to do it. But you bring another question, is that you actually disregard the result of referendum, which is going to bring another bigger scale of political debate, because referendum is supposed to come into effect. That's where we say that give people the power they're supposed to have. So if the UK really ignore the referendum, then it's going to be another riot coming out from people who voted to leave. So now it's a tricky question for the parliament member. And of course, parliament member have their own agenda as well as, same as the US politician. So I still think the future is uncertain. But now, at least, we all know that they are not going to do a hard Brexit. That means that they are not going to really disregard whatever May says about the schedule. She said that she's going to make sure the article is triggered prior to 2017 March. But right now, it's not in her decision anymore. It has to go through the parliament. And right now, things will become more moderate. And that's therefore playing a better view for British pound in general. Now, other than that, a couple hours later, we have Bank of England rate decision, which exactly as expected come out as unchanged. And as I mentioned yesterday, really no central bank would like to make any drastic change prior to the US election, because that's really the suicide move, right? You just want a stability, especially when US has such a huge election coming out next week. The ISM non-manufactured PMI from US is slightly negative, but again, it's not really a big decision. It's not really a factor right now in terms of the US data. Sentimentally, we have another down day for all equity market. WTI once again closed red below $45 per barrel. Now that's just a very significant strength into a very negative sentiment. all because of the US election. That's really, guys, you have to understand, whether you like it or not, US still is the power country, a superpower in the world. So their election, although might not have anything to do with you and me, non-US citizens, it's still a very critical event. And right now, as you can see, it's completely reflect in the financial market. All right, so tomorrow we do have the non-farm payroll. Usually it is a very big event, and tomorrow is still going to be big events because right now people are really guessing what's going to happen. Of course, if the non-farm payroll come out as negative, then on top of that, the US negative sentiment from the election, you are going to see a huge selling into the US dollar. However, if the non-farm payroll come out as positive, then you might see a reversal movement because we are in our consecutive 8th equity market down day. So the stock market has been sold off for the past 8 days. So if tomorrow the non-farm payroll is a good number, that's going to at least provide some support into the US stock market, into the currency market. So we will see what happens tomorrow in our non-farm payroll, and I'm going to read out the number to you so that you know what to look out for. So you actually have two data coming out tomorrow. One is from Canada, the other one is from US. Now, as you know that the WTI market is very bearish right now, and that's really going to affect the Canadian dollar. So mainly we will put our focus on the US dollar, and just to pick a pair to hedge first. So if the non-farm payroll come out as positive, then you can actually go. Normally, I would say you can buy dollar CAD because oil market is in a very bearish status right now. But because we also have a Canadian data coming out at the same time, and you gotta understand when you trade this kind of events, it's very fast. You really don't want to distract your attention too much. So what I would do is I will actually hedge against Japanese yen. Because if this data provide to be good, then most likely it will reverse the sentiment in the stock market as well. And that's going to reverse the sentiment into a safe haven currency. So that's really going to provide a lot of reversal power for Japanese yen. So if it's a good non-farm payroll number, a positive surprise for tomorrow, I am going to buy dollar yen. Now, if it's a negative one, then I am going to short. If it's a negative one, then providing the sentiment will once again be very negative. Then to make it easier, I will probably going to short dollar yen as well. So I'm either going to buy dollar yen in terms of positive surprise, or I'm going to short dollar yen in terms of negative surprise. Remember, this is all going to be intraday trade only. I'm going to close up everything before the weekend. The reason is because the election is next Tuesday. Up until that, you really have no say in terms of what direction the US dollar is going to go, or the market in general. So it's really best to protect yourself. No one knows the future, and really best way to protect yourself is to stay in the sideline if you can't, because you only want to get into the trade when you have a certainty. And for me personally, I really have no certainty of whether who is going to win the election or what's going to happen, right? So again, if we have a positive non-farm payroll number, I'm going to buy dollar yen. We have a negative, I'm going to short dollar yen. Now, if you want something else in terms of shorting US dollar, you can always go with New Zealand dollar or Australian dollar as well. So if you have a negative non-farm payroll, you can actually buy New Zealand dollar or buy Aussie dollar. Now, in terms of me personally, I will have to see what happened in the price level probably an hour before the non-farm payroll release to give me a better idea of which currency pair I would choose. But that's the general idea. Now, what happened to Canadian dollar? Again, I will have to see what happened to WTI market. But in general, if you have a negative, a very negative surprise in the Canadian dollar, you will short Canadian dollar against, usually you can hedge with US dollar, but I don't really like to do that again because I have to really separate my focus on these two things. So I will just pick something that's more certain. So I will actually pick Australian dollar or New Zealand dollar to go against Canadian dollar if we have a negative surprise. If we have a positive surprise, then that will still, I might not buy it just because the oil market might be down. But if we have a positive surprise, then you can buy Canadian dollar against. Man, that's gonna be a hard one because I really don't see any other currency who is gonna do worse at this moment. So if you have a negative one, you have a positive surprise, you can buy Canadian dollar. I would say maybe against. You can buy against US dollar, but then you have to pay attention to the US dollar data as well. So I guess you can buy against British pound. That's the only thing I'll say. And the reason is because although today we have a power strength into British pound, they are still fundamentally weak. And tomorrow they are not in the headline. There's nothing happening tomorrow for British pound. So I guess if Canadian dollar come out as a positive surprise, you can buy against British pound. And that would be the best call I have. Of course, I might change my position or pair selection prior to the trade just because I want to see what happened to the market an hour before this release. But fundamentally, that's the direction it should go. So if you have a negative Canadian dollar, you can short it against either Japanese yen or Australian dollar or New Zealand dollar. If you have a positive Canadian dollar, you can buy against British pound. And same thing with US dollar. If you have a negative US dollar, you can short it against Japanese yen, Australian dollar, and New Zealand dollar. If you have a positive US dollar, you can of course buy against Japanese yen. So that's it for tomorrow. Let's take a look at what happened today in the service PMI. So service PMI, is not this green candle. This is the High Court ruling for the Article 50. So this, let's go into a 5-minute chart, and we'll have it. So 5:30, that's where it came out. So 5:30, it's actually this one. So when it actually first came out, it doesn't have much action. If you look at this, you have about 1.2337 to 1.2362. You have less than 30 pips of action or reaction in this half hour of data. Almost half hour of data. So let's just think about trading intraday. And for me personally, I love it, but I also hate it. I love it because you get to make profit at very short period of amount of time, and that's really a good feeling. And consider, most people work 8 hours a day, and you can make triple their salary in less than 15 and 20 minutes. That's really the thrill of trading intraday for me. However, the negative side is that you might also lose that much money in that period of time, and that's actually not the worst outcome. The worst outcome is if you're stuck in the trade. If you're stuck in a trade, then you're supposed the intraday trade will actually turn into a really, really drained hourly and daily trade. And that's really the worst case scenario for me, is that I have to sit in front of the screen, and really you cannot go anywhere, you cannot do anything else, you have to monitor it live. And that's really the worst case scenario for me, because I rather win or lose at a blink moment. I don't want to stuck in and then it's just very tiring emotionally. So if you look at 1 minute candle, right now we are here at 5:30 was the service PMI, which is this green candle actually. 5:29, 5:30 it came out. And now you gotta understand, you will never be as fast as computer. So I didn't trade today, but if I looking back, I always try to give myself a very accurate judgment of what had happened today and what could have happened to me if I participated. So if I participated, where I'm going to get in? Well, like I say, I never want to overestimate my ability. So I'm always say that I'm probably going to get in here at 47. That's a fair guess because I'm not going to get in at the high, right? That's really if I'm mentally challenged, something really happened to me. But I'm also not going to get in at the low because again, why would I be so quick as fast as a high frequency trader? No, I'm a human. So I know I'm probably going to get in at here. Let's just say 45 is the right number. So if I get in at 45, then my regular stop loss will be, 122.90. Will be at here, 50 pips. And of course, this is where the pain comes in is actually this area. The first 10 minutes, you have no movement. And the second 10 minutes, you have a little bit movement, but not as much as my break-even point. So I usually set to break even when I have 30 pips. So it's not even 30 pips yet. And then you have another going down, going up, going down, going up, and almost 6 o'clock. So to be honest, if I have participated today, I will get out maybe with 10 or 20 pips, or set myself to break even very fast. And if I set myself to break even, then I might got stop out, or I might still in the trade, and it really depend on where I am. So if I getting at 23.45 and all these 10 minutes, I to be honest, I might just get out if there's nothing happen, because we have a surprise event. Look at this is very important. If you have a surprise result and yet the market has no reaction for 3 to 5 minutes, then pretty much it's a non-event. That's a non-event. And in that case, I usually get out to protect myself, because it's get out while you still can. So to be honest, if I have traded today, I will most likely get out at here when I have nothing happen for 10 minutes, just because there's no action coming out. Now people might argue, say, well, if you hold it just a little bit longer, you can grab this. But this is an event that you have no prediction about. You have no saying. The High Court might rule against the UK government, but I might also rule against the UK Parliament. If today the result is a ruling against the UK Parliament, then believe me, you're going to see a huge drop even further than this, because that's a negative news for British pound. And the negative news for British pound, on top of their fundamental bearish sentiment already, is going to have really drag the pound into south. So again, don't come back here and always feel like, oh, you could have done this and that, because you have to be really honest about your own ability and your judgment. So for me, if I have trade today, I will actually get out at break even. It will be a non-event for me, but I didn't do it, so you never know. But basically, that's just the day trade strategy for me personally. Now, let's take a look at our regular daily chart and then see what we have. But again, most likely I don't want to enter anything, because tomorrow is the non-farm payroll and the risk is just too high. So for me, I don't want to enter anything. On top of that, Friday is coming up. So again, I know it's quite a lot of people, especially if you're impatient like me, it's really, you want to have an action. But understand, we are not here to get thrill or excitement in the financial market. We're here to make money. And if you make money and you feel very boring, that's great. You don't want to feel the thrill and lose money. That's the worst outcome. And that's actually what happened to 85% of the trader, is they get addicted to it by the thrill, by the excitement, not the profit. So if you get addicted to trading by the excitement, but you still lose money all the time, and guess what? You are gambling, because that's exactly the symptom of gambler. You go into the casino knowing that you're always going to lose, but you still go just because you feel this thrill. So that's the moment you have to give yourself a trading journal to be really realistic about your profit. Are you making money or not? So don't come into the market just to feel good, just to feel excitement. You want to be here for one reason only, that is you want to make money. All right, so today, let's take a look at the euro dollar first. So euro pound have a down day today, again, because British pound has an up day. Euro Swiss, we have a little bit reversal, and that just tell me that now maybe the sentiment shift a little bit, and it did shift a little bit, because honestly, people being panicked, keep selling the market. But you gotta understand, even if Donald Trump gets elected, he's not gonna be the president the next day. You still have couple months until next year before Obama to give out his presidency, and between now and then there's still a lot of time. And again, even if he becomes the president, you still have the US Parliament. Sorry, we don't call Parliament, the Congress. You still have the election in the Congress, and then again, it's not a tyranny system nowadays in this developed country, right? A president is not a king. So a lot of time you're gonna see the financial market react really pessimistically or really optimistically, but that's exactly the moment you can make money. Like Warren Buffett say, when everyone is optimistic, that's the moment you should be careful. Then when everyone is pessimistic, that's where the opportunity comes in. Okay, so euro dollar today. Again, we have consecutive update for euro dollar, and for me, this is just a good chance to looking for a short opportunity because, of course, dollar is still a strength currency. Even though if Donald Trump gets elected, it's not gonna change the fact. Euro Aussie really indecisive, and Euro CAD again we have an inside candle day. Really nothing much going on against other currency. The real right now, people are really thinking, all the traders are thinking about the same thing. Where is this thing going to go? Are we still going to be in this trade when the weekend comes? And tomorrow, now from payroll, what's going to happen? So don't be scared because you don't know what's going to happen. I'm telling you, everyone feels the same way. No matter what kind of Ivy League degree they have, no matter what kind of Armani suit they're wearing on TV, don't think that people on TV knows more than you. Don't even think I know more than you. I don't know anything more than you. All I know is that this is a probability game. So all you can do is protect yourself. Pound Swiss franc. Again, nothing much going on. And cable, people saying that we have the biggest rally today. But honestly, look at the long-term picture. You are still way below this downtrend or even at 50%. However, you are very near 2550, which 25. No, sorry, you are very near 1.25, which is a very critical support point. And I'm very interested if we have any short signal right here. Will be a very good opportunity. Now, I'm staying out all here, and guess what? I'm very happy about it. I know a lot of people stop out, get out. It's really you are working so hard for a very minimum profit. I understand that you really want to utilize your energy, time, and money to trade less but more accurately, right? You don't want to trade just for nothing. Pound Aussie, very similar picture nowadays for British pound today. It's all same thing. And because of that, that's why I say tomorrow, if we have a positive data coming out from Canada, then pound CAD will be a good pair to short because they actually have the biggest rally today against all other pound pairs. You got pound New Zealand, pound Aussie. Did you see the velocity today? Even cable, you have almost about 150 pips today, but then look at pound CAD. Look at pound CAD. You have this huge movement, almost 250 pips today, right? 64, 67. Yeah, you have almost 200, 150 to 200 pips today. So what's going to happen is understand this rule of thumb is what goes up fast will also drop fast. What drops fast will not necessarily goes up fast. So once again, and forgive my English, I know I have some grammatical mistake, but you get my drill. Is that whatever goes up fast, whatever goes up quickly, will also falls down quickly. So it is very essential rule of thumb in the financial market. What goes up quickly will also falls down quickly. Now, what falls down quickly might not goes up quickly. That's just a different degree. Understand that the gravity will always go against you for people who wants to buy. Of course, gravity really have nothing to do with financial market, but I'm just saying that that's a very perfect example. Is that thinking about the gravity will always go against you if you want to get up. But gravity will always be on your side if you want to fall down. So tomorrow, if Canadian dollar has a positive data, on top of that, if the oil market does not continue to fall, then pound CAD will be a good pair to short. Okay, so let's keep going. Swiss franc and Japanese yen, nothing happened here. Dollar Swiss, again, an indecisive day. Dollar CAD will have another indecisive day. Dollar yen have a 3 consecutive short bearish day, but understand, look at the candlesticks, look at the selling power is getting smaller. By the way, I cancel my order because I did not get in. So rule of thumb is that if I didn't get fill in first day, then sometimes I will try to get in at exactly same spot. But if I didn't get a fill in second day, then I will look at what happened tomorrow. Then tomorrow the non-farm payroll is coming out from US dollar, and then it's a weekend. So I don't want to risk into this kind of trade. It's too much uncertainty for me. So I rather not in. And that's fine. Perfectly for me. Yes, I understand the pain when you're losing the opportunity. I also understand the pain when you are not trading and everybody else is making money. But understand you are in this game for a long term. Don't get confused by this short-term profit. The real trader I know who are successful are in this game for 10 plus years. And then you have to be able to withhold that. People might make money today, tomorrow. I don't really care because I've seen too many people in and out in this market. So understand what are you here for and really play in accordance with your own personality, with your own style, and you must have patience to learn, to grow, and to prosper in this market. So cancel my order already, and that's pretty much it. I have no more day trade for today or tomorrow, and I'm really going to see what happened to the non-farm payroll. And that's it. I'm perfectly fine to trade in my own way. Aussie Swiss. Again, what did I say tomorrow? I say yesterday. I say that if this thing, I say that although it's a good candlestick, but I'm not sure whether it's going to react well. And look what happened. It's really, I know people think, oh, it's a good candle, green candle today. It's really not a good result if you know regularly. If you have this kind of reversal signal, what you want to see, look at that. You have a reversal bearish inverse hammer. What you want to see is a very solid engulfing candle, and then you have a hammer. You want a solid candle. You have this kind of candle. You want a solid candle. After that, that's really a confirmation, right? But you don't have that. You have a little bit. You have a reversal signal, and today it tried to taste down and goes up again. Now, what's gonna happen tomorrow? Of course, tomorrow it might goes up because the sentiment might shift. And normally, I would say that hey, it's not a bad signal. It's not a bad trade to keep holding it. But again, it's Friday. It's non-farm payroll day tomorrow, and it's election day next week. So all these are uncertainty of risk for me. And when I don't know, when I have no idea what's gonna happen, I don't even have enough probability, I will stay out. You are feel free to get in and baiting on your own, but that's just a rule of thumb for me to trade. Now, my style might seem very conservative for many people, but understand that I've been in this market really literally for 10 plus years. I have been through a lot of losses. I have been through a lot of winnings. I have made money and lost money in very short period of time. I have no friend who make millions of dollars who lost everything. So my goal is really not to become millionaire next day. Okay, it's really to survive. And I know it sounds very pessimistic to say this way, but that's really essential key for me to stay in the financial market, is to survive another day. And that's really the key to trading. Okay, Aussie dollar, Aussie cat, and Aussie New Zealand. We see a little bit reversal from Australian dollar. Even against New Zealand dollar, it stopped bleeding, right? It stopped bleeding. So it's good strength coming to Australian dollar. That's all I say. Now, Aussie Young, again, it's a very good signal, a very good place. But right now, I don't want against Japanese yen, as mentioned, that because the sentiment is still too strong. And it's not just something for this week. It's going to go ahead until the election, which is next week. So I don't want to get into any kind of short Japanese yen trade over the weekend prior to the election. So that's why, and just give you understanding, when you trade, you don't want to be blindly just trading the candlestick signal or just trading the fundamental data. You really have to understand what's happening now and what's going to happen in the future, and making the best judgment according to that. Play with the adequate and sounding risk management, and manage the trade with a very healthy emotional psychology. Cat Swiss, again, a very indecisive day. Cat Yen, again, same thing. UC Swiss, it's an update, but you can tell that after the huge surge, it's actually very disappointing. We stopped right here. So that's what I basically try to give you this teaching, is that, don't get dragged into the risk, the candlestick pattern or the price action. UZ CAD, again, we have a small, basically the movement has stopped, right? So whoever gets into this trade, you're really not playing a good risk and reward, right? Because I assume if you get into this trade, your stop loss is always here or here. And now you're risking this much to get a little bit movement here. New Zealand yen, again, very indecisive day. So really, like I said, nothing much on my plate, even though a lot of signal, I'm still not going to trade anything prior to the non-farm payroll in daily chart. I'm also not going to hold any trade in this weekend. It's not a rule of thumb. It's just because the election is coming up. And right now, my trading will very much surrounded intraday. And also, even in intraday, I will always play safe. Play very safe. So that's the only thing I will trade tomorrow is the non-farm payroll and the Canadian employment data. Only if I have a deviation coming out from the results. So only if I have a positive surprise or negative surprise. Otherwise, I'm going to stay out, and I'm perfectly fine with that. And next week, we're going to see what's happening in US, whether Hillary Clinton gets elected or Donald Trump. And then we will have a better judgment in terms of what happened in the financial market. Other than that, feel free to leave comment, ask me any question if you have any. But please play safe. I know a lot of people will make money and lose money, but again, try to survive another day. That's the goal in the financial market. All right, thank you very much. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.